Hey guys, sorry I have not posted in a really long time, but I've been really busy. So I am going to post today about how to edit an existing design, what designs you can edit, what designs would be difficult to edit, and so forth. If you are appearing in class for this lesson, you have an outline that was provided to you. And so we'll kind of go in that order on what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to tell if a design can be edited. So when I say that, I mean taking things away from it or adding things to it. Most designs can have things added to them, but sometimes they can't have things taken away from them. So on my screen, you can see a whole bunch of designs I have up, and they're different designs for different reasons. So the first one we're going to do is this one right here. So let's go ahead and maximize it. So it's this cute font. It's a font with a little kitty cat in it, and I created this, thought it would be fun for Halloween. So this design has been combined and the overlap removed. So sometimes people who digitize things, it is one of the settings in the software that you can combine it and remove overlap. Why would you want to remove overlap? Sometimes it makes the stitch out better. I tend to not like removing overlap. I find sometimes that it gaps, it causes problems. So if I'm going to digitize something, I generally create the gap myself or remove the overlap myself so that I know how much space I have, whereas the computer does it, and sometimes it seems like it does it a little too close. So if when you bring in a design, it looks something like this and you love the C, but you don't like the cat, you can go ahead and select it, and on your toolbar, you can choose modify. When you do that, you notice that you have two colors on the right side of your screen on the design panel. If you uncheck the cat, so this one's really easy. So this design is literally a black cat on a blue sea. So it's pretty obvious which way you're going to go. So you're going to uncheck that black. Now notice what happens. It leaves a white outline of where the tail is and part of his little tushy. So if we were to put him back and uncheck the blue and then select him, we'll just do box select. Oops. Remember, if you use box select, you must select it all or it will delete only what you have. And then we're going to hit delete. Okay, so then we're going to go home. That cattail and the impression of his little bottom is still there. So this would not be a good design to remove the cat from, because the way the digitizer, or me, did it was I removed the overlap. Now, so you could go in here and you could add stitching and close this up, but that would take more time than just going out and finding a new font. So this would not be a design that you would want to remove that cat from. However, we're going to go ahead and close this one since we're done that. All right, so this one is a little bit different. So this is the A. So same concept, the font with a little cat. But this time I did not remove the overlap. So I'm going to go ahead and choose modify, and I'm going to uncheck that black cat. Notice that there is nothing. He is stitched directly on top of the A. So this will be a perfect design to edit. So now you can have the font with the cat or without the cat. So we'll go ahead and put the cat back. And this time I'm going to do select all visible, and I'm going to go ahead and delete him. And we'll go to the home tab, and there is our perfect A without the cat. So when you're choosing designs to do things like that too, this is what you want to do. You want to choose a design that is able to have something removed from it without leaving a gap. Okay, so this one's done. We'll go ahead and close that one. Say no, I don't want to save that. Okay, so those would be two designs that are stitched designs that would be easy. One would be not acceptable to edit and the other one would. The other thing is, does it have quilting around? So some digitizers do it like this. Oh, modify design panel. Oops. Okay. So notice that the quilting is around the design. So if I were to choose this design and go into modify, and I would do uncheck my quilting, and I would do select all visible, and I would delete this, all I would have left would be those stitching. So this would not be a good one to remove that. However, the opposite can be said. If I went into modify and I got rid of everything but the quilting, I could then have the cute snow globe instead. And as you notice, there's like these outlines, and this was a quilt block, so that's why that's there. So this would be a great design to pull that center item from, but not the quilting. So if you didn't want the quilting and wanted just the design, perfect. Wanted the quilting but not the design, not so perfect. So we're going to go ahead and close this one. Nope, no saving. Okay, so this one is the opposite. Design panel. This design has the quilting on the whole thing. So let's say you wanted the quilting. Let's say this was cooler quilting than just straight lines. You could actually pull this design off and leave the quilting behind. So, oops. So we're going to go ahead and select the design and choose modify. And this one, we could do the opposite. I know that color 4 is that quilting, and I could do select all visible and then delete, and then go home, and there's the quilting left. So then I could add my own design onto that quilting. This is great for when you're doing like a quilted pot holder or something. If you got one for Halloween, you could take out the Halloween design and put in an Easter or whatever. You know, you could use those quilting designs for something else. So this is the kind of designs you want to look for if you're doing the quilting. You want to look for the quilting behind the whole design. And again, this one would be also the same would apply, that you could actually just keep the cauldron, get rid of the quilting, and that would be easy as well. So this is actually your perfect design. This is what you want to see. This is perfect. It has all components. It has the quilting that you can keep and the design you can keep. So that makes for a really good design to choose to edit. Okay. No. All right. I am going to pause the video for a second so that I can pull up the next part of the lesson, and I'll be right back. Okay, so if you took the embroidery club, we did the So Fun little basket, and I did give you a blank version, but if I had not given you a blank version, this would be super easy to do. This is one of those designs that is just perfect. It has the quilting behind it. It's easy. You can easily remove it and easily add. So what I have on my screen is the original So Fun little basket that we are going to stitch out, or we did stitch out. The other thing I have is a friend of mine's little logo. It's Sisters Sew Shack. If you'd like to check them out on Facebook, they are awesome, and they do all kinds of really cool things. But she gave me permission to use her logo in this demonstration, so that's what we're doing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the So Fun. So we just simply go back to our Modify tab. And there it is. And we know that So is this pink coral color and Fun is this turquoise color. So we're going to go ahead and uncheck everything but those two colors. Once those two colors are checked, or two colors are the only two checked, we're going to select all visible and we're going to delete that. And then we're going to go back to home, and that leaves just the blank part of the basket. So there you have it. Then on this one, I'm going to go ahead and go to home, and I'm going to copy that. It's going to put it here as well, and I'm going to hit paste. Then basically all you do is go ahead and center this up. Oh, that's really slow, so we'll do it the easier way. And once it's centered up, that's it. This design, you can, on this design, do it where it just stitches the whatever you added to it at the very end. If you didn't want to do that, if you wanted it to stitch before the very end, you can simply come up here and say combine all. That's going to put them together, and notice that this is the last stitch. So we're going to go back to that modify tab again, and we're going to move this up, but we need to figure out where it needs to move up. So we know it's not the last 2 stitches or the last 3 stitches. So we know it's the quilting, and so we want to find the quilting, which is right there. So number 5 is the quilting. And if you hover over it, it turns yellow sometimes. Sometimes mine's, yeah, there it goes. If you can see that it turned yellow, you can see where it is. So we're going to click on step number 9, and we are going to move it directly below stitch 5 so that it'll do the quilting, then the logo, and then it will finish off the rest of the basket. So it's as easy as that. This applies for any design. If you had, you know, if you're removing it from anything, just what you want to do is you want to find that step in that design where you want it to go, and then just move it there. Now this one was really simple. She had one color. If there were multiple colors, you would do them in the order. I think I've done videos on this before, but we're going to go a little bit further today than just this. So there we go. So this would be ready for stitch out. But let's say that you decided that you wanted one of these steps to be a different type of stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and close that one and maximize this one. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of stitching on this one, but it is an easy example to do this with. So if I wanted to change my stitch length, I wanted to change my stitch type, my density, how would I go about doing that? You can't really do it on the modify tab. So if I go into the modify tab, there's nothing that allows me to do those things. There's nothing with densities. There's nothing. So how do I do that? Well, it's really easy in the mySewnet software. You just simply right click on it. On the film strip, you right click and you choose edit and stitch editor. That is going to, now don't ever click finish there because it'll close it and then you'll have to redo it. Okay. So in Stitch Editor, something that I have not really gone over very in depth, but I do use it surprisingly more often now than I used to. So when you come into Stitch Editor, you'll notice that the screen looks a lot different. There's like this color bar down here. There's like a little ghost. There's all kinds of different things. And today we're not really going to go over that because it's not really learn Stitch Editor mode today, but learn how to do different things with stitches. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go here and we're going to choose Object. Once you choose Object, notice everything is grayed out. Well, the reason it's all grayed out is because I don't have anything selected. So as I hover over things, it selects them. And I can choose one to select. So I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to select this one. And if you wanted to make it easier, you could like undo some of these so that you are right on what you're doing. Okay, so once this one is selected, it has boxes all around it, and it tells me that this is a running stitch. The properties of the running stitch, it tells me that they're basically 2.1. It's not using any of those things. It has secure points if you needed them, so on and so forth. I can change the density to a lighter density or a heavier density. Obviously, that's not going to work on running stitches. But one of the things you can do is you can convert it. So if I choose convert, I can now change it to a double stitch to a double zigzag, a triple stitch, a satin line, and a motif line. I'm going to go ahead and do the zigzag just so you can see it. And I'm going to make the zigzag width something crazy, just so you can visibly see it. And I'm going to say okay. So it has now become a zigzag stitch. So if you wanted something that had that zigzag look versus a running stitch, you could do that, a motif line, whatever you wanted. You can change that line. Now, within reason, there are some things that it cannot do. So I'm going to uncheck all these unwanted colors really quick. Okay. So I'm going to put number 2 in versus the first one. And I'm going to select that one. Okay, so now all we have on screen is my second stitch. So again, it's telling me it's a running stitch, and I want to convert this one to, I don't want to convert this one. I want to change this one to a longer stitch. This is a placement stitch, so I don't need it to be a small. I want it to be bigger. So I'm going to change this to 4. Give me a bigger stitch so that it is quicker, doesn't take as many stitches, and say okay. And let's see if we can tell the difference. So as you can see, if you can see this, the stitches are now longer. They're no longer those short little stitches. They are longer. So we're going to go back here. So now we have changed one completely into a zigzag stitch. We've changed another one stitch length. So let's go down here to this, because this is different. So we're going to choose the side of the heart. And it says that it is a satin column. And let me zoom in real quick so that we're seeing this pretty good. Okay. So it is saying it's a satin column. So we're going to go to properties, and it's going to tell me that the density is 4. Now, a satin line versus a satin column. Satin columns do not get to choose your width on satin columns, because satin columns generally taper or curve in and go out. So they have a distinct shape versus just a line. So that density says it's 4, but maybe I want it to be thicker. So I'm going to go ahead in here and change it to 2. It also took away that weird stitch. So now my density it's a thicker stitch. And you can kind of see the difference, see how much it's kind of, if you look really close, you can kind of see a difference. You cannot, on the convert, you can change it to a few things, but nothing real different. So let's try this one. So we'll leave everything and see what it does. It puts that weird stitch back, notice. And there, it has a very strange look now, but that is that, whatever that word is, bars. So you can come in here and you can alter different things. So we can convert it. Let's try this feathered satin. Density. Say okay. So this makes it kind of look like a very strange kind of zigzaggy type of thing. So you can do all kinds of different things. One of the other things you can do is you can remove those underlying stitches. So remember how we talked about that when you combine and remove overlap, that would be what this is. So if you got a design where there wasn't the overlap removed and it is stitching heavy and you're breaking needles because it's dense and thick, you can come in here, bring that design in, and remove those underlay stitchings. Okay, so those are all kinds of different things that you can do. Like I said, it's really kind of fun. And then you can change it to satin area, change its density. And that'll kind of make it look a little bit more like a circle. Not a whole lot different, but a little bit of different. You can move points in here. If you do not know exactly what you're doing, I do not recommend it, especially with how many points there are in here. You would really need to come in here and zoom in, and then you could adjust the points as you saw fit. So, I don't recommend doing that if you're not real familiar, but let's say that something was just a little off and you wanted to kind of make it a little bit more even or whatever, you can do that. Sometimes there are stitches within stitches. You're getting the underlay plus the overlay. So all kinds of different things you can do in this module. You can insert points, you could delete points, you could come in here and be like, well, I don't want this one or this one or this one, and you can make it whatever you want. You can insert points so that you put it back to where it's normal. Notice that when I am doing a satin column, it is putting 2 points at the same time. Okay, so that is how you alter different aspects and different stitching on your designs. Stitch 5 would be kind of fun. Oops, undo that. Okay, right click. So like if you were messing with insert or points or delete points, make sure that you right click to clear it so that you have your little pointer back. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see, quilting is tough because you have to do each one kind of individually. We'll come in here and we'll do convert and we'll do a motif line real quick just so you can see kind of what you could possibly do, and we'll just choose that star. And see, it puts the little stars there instead. You would have to do this a lot, just FYI, when you're doing the quilting patterns. It is a lot. You'd have to come in every one. But it is definitely doable, so that if you wanted, so you can take an existing design and you can truly make it your own in any way. So changing the stitches, doing all kinds of fun stuff. I really like the editing, the capabilities on the stitch editor. I think they're fun. I think it's an easier way to do some things. I also use this to put borders around things and other things, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you were in class, you probably got to ask questions. If you're not in the class and you do have a question, go ahead and put it in the comments. I will try my best to get it with working a full-time job. Right now it is a little bit hard, but I will try. And you can also message me at Facebook on Stitching with Stephanie. And I get back to people on there a lot faster than I do on YouTube. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a couple of things. Enjoy your day.